name's Hido, and welcome to the Pantheon, where we're in a horrible nightmare where we're entering into a dungeon over and over again, and we keep returning back to someone's hand. It's really quite weird. But this is the world that Acererak? Acererak? What a weird name. The Archlich finds himself in. 3 mana, 5/5 zombie wizard. When it enters the battlefield, if you haven't completed Tomb of Annihilation, return it to its owner's hand and venture into the dungeon. When it attacks, for each opponent, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token unless that player sacrifices a creature. So, quite a cool commander. And the main thing I'm going to be looking at here and building around is that not completing the Tomb of Annihilation, just constantly venturing further and further into different dungeons, because if we can do that, well, we can just outright win the game through fun and shenanigans. And that is that. That's what I'm going for. Like, the ability to attack and sack, get some zombies, that's going to sort of play into it. It's a nice sort of direction you could go if you're going for a more casual game. If you're not wanting to combo off, by all means, go for that. And we're going to build a lot of zombie synergies into the deck because it works really well with our commander. If you like these videos, please do subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more of them, so join me for the ride. Without further ado, let's have a look at the top 5. And in at number 5, we've got Zombie Ogre. Shrek. We've got 5 mana for a 3/5. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, venture into the dungeon. So this is all about different ways of venturing into the dungeon, It's a cool mechanic. I've just played the pre-release, and it's really fun, to be fair. The choices, the different things it does. I like it. It's very thematic. And this deck can really be built around that. And this is a zombie as well, so it works with the sort of zombie theme we're going for. Dungeon map, 3 mana for an artifact that taps for a colorless. The fact that it doesn't tap for a black isn't that big of an issue for me, really, because we are a mono black deck, so every single one of our lands will give us the colors we need. And then you can pay 3, tap it to venture into the dungeon, although only at sorcery speed, but still really nice to just have on a mana rock something that the deck wants to be doing anyway. Then we've got Dungeon Descent, a land that enters the battlefield, taps for a colorless, pay 4 and tap an untapped legendary creature you control. So you could tap our commander if he's on the field, or just some other legendary creature we have to venture into the dungeon. You can activate it only as a sorcerer, which is a problem with our commander because a lot of the time our commander is going to come in and then return straight back to our hand, which means that we can't tap him at instant speed because of this. It's a bit weak with our commander, but we're going to have other legendary creatures. And then we've got Fate's Reversal. 2 mana for a sorcery. Return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Venture into the dungeon. So this can just rebuy any one of our key pieces. There's going to be board wipes happening. So this is a nice little include. Not a particularly exciting card, but it helps us with the venturing, which is what we want to be doing. Which brings me on to number 4. And at number 4, we've got Diagraph Colossus. And this is the zombie sort of package that I'm going with. 3 mana for a 2/2. It enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it for each zombie card in your graveyard. Not too fussed about that. The main thing I'm interested in is whenever you cast a zombie spell, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped, which is really awesome with our commander because we're going to be casting him, then he's returning back to our hand, and that counts as casting a zombie spell. So for 3 mana, or potentially less if you look at the cards coming up, we're going to be able to make a little zombie dude and, just keep bouncing him. And while we're doing that, we're venturing further and further into the dungeons. To go along with this, we've got Undead War Chief, 4 mana for a zombie. Zombie spells you cast cost 1 generic less to cast, so that means our commander will cost 2, which is really, really good. And then zombie creature you control get +2/+1. So a nice overall buff. This includes himself, so technically he's always a 3/2 for 4, but it's really, really good and works very well with all the sort of token synergies and everything else that we're going to be looking to play. Then we've got Liliana, Untouched by Death. 4 mana for a 4 loyalty planeswalker. +1, put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. If at least one of them was a zombie card, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Nice little drain. And with this deck, if you're going to be playing the zombies, you're going to generally be milling a zombie. Then -2, target creature gets -X until end of turn, where X is the number of zombies you control. Again, we're going to be having zombies, lots of tokens, so that should be pretty good. And finally, -3, you may cast zombie cards from your graveyard this turn. So as I was saying, board wipes happen. This is just going to help you rebuy all of the zombies. And with things like Undead Warchief that reduce the cost, we should be able to just splurge them all onto the field. Very nice. Then we've got Noxious Ghoul. Works again with our commander fantastically. 5 mana for a zombie 3/3. Whenever it or another zombie enters the battlefield, all non-zombie creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn. So again, with our commander, we're going to be bouncing him over and over again. This can just end up wiping the entire board for our opponents, and we're going to keep all of our zombies around. Incredibly powerful and works fantastically. Then we've got Crypt Baker. He's a baker. He's got a nice hat on. He's going to serve as a loaf. Delicious. 1 black for a 1/1. Pay 2 and tap it. Discard a card. Put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. So another great way of creating some zombies. Yes, discarding a card, but as I've shown, we're going to have quite a lot of ways to get them back. Then you can tap 3 untap zombies you control to draw a card and you game and lose 1 life. So again, this is really good just with a general zombie army, but this works coolly with our commander. So when our commander comes in response to him getting bounced back to our hand, we can tap him as well as 2 other zombies to draw a card, then he's back in our hand. We can do it again, tap 2 more zombies. Nice bit of card advantage. Excellent little engine. Then we got Gravespawn Sovereign, 6 mana for a 3/3. Tap 5 untapped zombies you control. Put target creature card from a graveyard into play under your control. So that's not just our graveyard, we can steal whatever creatures our opponents have. Very nice. And again, because we're tapping 5 untapped zombies, we can use our commander when he comes in. It doesn't matter about summoning sickness. Then it's not a zombie, but it makes zombies. Grave Titan, 6 mana for a 6/6 with Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, put 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield. Incredible, absolutely makes you a massive board state, works exceptionally well, great reanimation target, disgusting artwork. Look at those zombies going, just sort of popping out of him. Absolutely rancid. I love it. Which brings me on to number 3. And at number 3, we've got Deathmatch. Nice. 4 mana for an enchantment. Whenever a creature comes into play, that creature's controller may have target creature of his or her choice get -3 until end of turn. So again, this is very similar to Noxious Ghoul. We play our commander, right, that's dead. Play our commander again, that's dead. We can just control the board, -3/-3, gets around indestructible. Really, really cool. And as I keep saying, there's going to be some cost reduction in our commander. So we're going to get it down to 1 black. Bam, 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 bam. Everything's going to die. It's going to be really, really nice. Which brings me on to another couple of cards that care about casting. So we're going to be a zombie tribal deck, and Door of Destinies is usually the worst version of Coat of Arms. 4 mana for an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, put a charge counter on Door of Destinies. Creature control of the chosen type get +1/+1 for each charge counter on Door of Destinies. Well, this is going to be incredible with our commander that we're recasting over and over and over again. Keeps bouncing back to our hand. This is going to make our zombies ridiculously big. Absolutely fantastic. And then we've got Null Profusion. I love this card. I love the artwork. It just looks amazing. It's a color-shifted version of Recycle, I think it is. I can't remember off the top of my head. 6 mana for an enchantment. Skip your draw step. Never liked it anyway. Whenever you play a card, draw a card. That includes your land. So if you play a land, you get a card. Your maximum hand size is 2. Oh god, that's pretty miserable. But with our commander, 1 black mana, if we've reduced it, I keep saying this, we will reduce it. We will reduce. 1 black mana, draw a card, back to our hand. Keep doing this. We can build up a hand that we can play on that turn specifically. Draw loads more cards, then discard them all. But we're playing a zombie deck. We're going to reanimate all those cards we discarded. It works incredibly well in the deck. Then we've got Vanquisher's Banner, 5 mana for an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Zombie. Creatures you control a chosen type are 1/1s. Zombies. No, they have +1/+1. They're not 1/1s. I'm an idiot. Whenever you cast a creature spell of the chosen type, draw a card. Zombie. We're going to cast our commander over and over again. Just draw tons of cards. Then a zombie. Wow. Wow! Noose Graph Mob, 6 mana for a 0/0, enter the battlefield with 5 1/1 counters on it. Whenever a player casts a spell, remove a 1/1 counter from it. And if you do, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So this just gives you a massive board of zombies. Really, really nice. And, you know, it works quite well with any sort of reanimation spell because then you can cast it all again. Get loads more zombies. Speaking of tokens, Genesis Chamber is a really cool card for creating tokens, not specifically zombies. They're going to be colorless mirror artifact tokens. 2 mana for an artifact. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, if it is untapped, that player's controller creates a 1/1 mirror. So this is going to work really well with our commander. Just cast him loads. We get loads of tokens. Our opponents won't be able to take as much advantage of it. Then, Aetherflux Reservoir, 4 mana for an artifact. Whenever you cast a spell, gain 1 life for each spell you've cast this turn. Pay 50 life, deals 50 damage to target creature or player. Nice. Just laser beam whoever you want, whenever you want. Gain loads of life. Very nice. Which brings me on to my number 2 pick. And at number 2, we've got Heartless Summoning. Finally, we can reduce the cost of our commander. But there's a downside. 2 mana, creature spells you cast cost 2 less to cast, or our commander will cost a single black. Creatures you control get -1/-1. Ugh, who really cares? All the zombies we're going to be making are generally 2/2s, you know, all the tokens. So even that -1/-1 isn't that bad. It does kill Crit Baker. He's not a baker. He doesn't make pies and delicious treats. He kills people. But, you know, really cool card, works fantastically with the commander. To go along with that, we've got Semblance Anvil. 3 mana for an artifact. It has imprint, so when it enters the battlefield, you may exile a non-land card from your hand. Spells you cast that share a card type with the exiled card cost 2 less to cast. So we want to be getting rid of a creature, so our commander costs 2 less. And all of our zombies and everything else costs 2 less. Very, very powerful and cool. Bit of card disadvantage, but in the long run, we're going to get so much out of the constant venturing through the dungeon. Then we've got Urza's Incubator. 3 mana for an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Zombie. Creature spells as a chosen type cost 2 less to cast. Zombies are going to cost 2 less to cast. So our commander, 1 black mana. Incredible. Then we've got Planar Gate. 6 mana for an artifact. Creature spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. 6 mana is pretty steep, but look at that artwork. Look at that man on a horse. Absolutely amazing. It looks like a child's, doesn't it? Sorry, Melissa Benson. I'm not a fan. Bad. Which brings me on to my number 1 pick. And at number 1, we've reduced the generic mana cost. Let's make some black mana to go along with it so we can cast our commander for free, essentially. Carnival of Souls, 2 mana for an enchantment. Whenever a creature comes into play, you lose 1 life and you add black to your mana pool. So if our commander casts 1, cast him, he comes in, we make a black mana, returns back, oh, we got that blank mana, over and over and over again, until you lose all of your life. But venturing through the dungeon, you can gain some life doing that. So it's going to offset it, and one of the modes in the dungeons, I can't remember which dungeon it is, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. So using this, we can ping all of our opponents to death. They're going to die. To go along with this, we can have sort of a reduction from Crick, Son of Yawgmoth. 7 mana, but 3 of it is Phyrexian, so you can either pay 2 life for each of those black mana symbols or a black mana. It's a horror minion, and it's a lifelink, and for each black at a cost, you may pay 2 life rather than pay the mana. Whenever you cast a black spell, put a 1/1 counter on it. So this is really good with our commander. Instead of the black mana, you know, we've reduced the generic cost. The black mana is 2 life now. So for 2 life, we can cast our commander over and over again. Very, very powerful, and allows us to just churn through the dungeons. Then we've got Yara, First of Lochthwain. Double black. No. Triple. First 2, 3. Elf Noble. Whenever it or another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So our commander is a black creature, shockingly enough. Then you can tap it, sacrifice another black creature to draw a card. So if we've got Carnival of Souls on the field, yes, it's going to deal 1 damage to us. But when our commander enters, we're going to gain that life back and then deal 1 to our opponent. So we're just going to kill them. And then we've got Bontu's Monument, a cost reducer that also pings. 3 mana, black creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Excellent. And whenever you cast a creature spell, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So exactly what we want to be doing with our commander. Buffing our life total and also taking them down. And those are my top 5 cards for this brand new commander. It's really cool. Nice combo sort of thing. And you can build a nice little zombie deck in there, which is nice because if you just want to go down the casual route, say you're playing against some less experienced people, just play your zombies. You don't have to combo. You don't have to do it. You don't have to. You have a choice in life. You can decide what you want to do. And that's all I've got to say. So thank you very much for listening. I've enjoyed doing this and I'll see you soon. Subscribe. Bye.